the end of the month, and I know what you're thinking. What games did Josh and Julian play? Well, boy, do I have a segment for you. Welcome to Casual Views.
All right, Casual Views.
Okay.
So yeah, well, okay. I guess we should talk about what games we played this month.
Yeah. So I played the Mass Effect remake, the Legendary Edition.
Yeah, Legendary Edition. I was playing Resident Evil Village. Or Resident Evil 8, or however you want to say it.
Yeah.
8's technically in the title, but it's not
It's
in
Village.
the game. It's Village.
And then we both played Biomutant.
Yes,
we actually
did.
played it on our stream.
Yeah, and that's a fun game too.
So we're going to go in order of games that came out.
The release date. So, that means it's me first. Okay, so May 7th was Resident Evil 8. Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil... whatever you want to call it, because they put it in so many different ways.
So, Julian, tell me about the story of Resident Evil 8. How was it engaging? Did you enjoy it?
I mean, that's the whole reason why I was very excited about Resident Evil 8 was the story, because I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I've been a fan since I first played Resident Evil 4. That was my first Resident Evil because I was too scared to playing the other ones when I was younger because those games were scary. Like, holy crap.
That was kind of everybody's first Resident Evil, was Resident Evil 4.
4. And, like, it made me dive into the older ones, and I fell in love with the remake of 1 on the GameCube, so I've been a fan ever since. And this was the first, like, ever since I saw the trailer, it was one of the first games where I went, I have no idea what's going on with the story. Like, because there's a familiar character, Chris Redfield, he's in it. And the very beginning of the game paints him as an antagonist, and so do the trailers that have been shown. So... that was the whole, I was stoked about, like, I don't know what's going on. So I was enthralled with the story from the get-go. So they did a really good job with bringing, I should say, Ethan's story, because it's it's Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8 are definitely linked. Like, I would recommend playing 7 before you jump into 8. They do have a nice little, like, previously on what happened in Resident Evil 7. I mean, it's not as corny as that, but it's no Revelations. Anybody who plays Resident Evil Revelations will understand that.
Like 6 people out there are like, yeah, I get that. I like that reference.
But, no, play 7 because it's a very fine story from 7 to 8, and it's all one package. People think that, like, the next one's going to be a trilogy. It's like, no, like, let a game just be 1 and 2, and has a good story for Ethan.
Huh. And they're very similar in gameplay feel, right?
Oh, definitely.
Well, tell us about the gameplay.
So the gameplay is exactly what I wanted out of a sequel to Resident Evil 7. So it takes a lot from Resident Evil 7, which is a first-person survival horror experience.
The first of its kind in
Pretty
the
much, yeah,
Resident Evil series.
Yeah, and even in the gaming, because like a lot of survival horror first-person games, they strip you of your weapons. All you have to do is hide, like Outlast 2, Amnesia. It's all about, like, you are defenseless and you're gonna get killed. Like, you gotta run away.
Yeah.
And 7 really brought the Resident Evil formula into the first-person perspective, which I thought they nailed. And 8 just amplifies that to the extreme. As it's weird to say that 7 just obviously 7 is what to Resident Evil 1 is that, and Resident Evil 8 is what Resident Evil 2 is to Resident Evil 1. You know what I'm saying? It's weird to think about that. Like, Resident Evil 1 was about this man. I know. I'm going crazy. So Resident Evil 1 was about a mansion, and then Resident Evil 2 was about a city.
Resident Evil 7 is about
the mansion, the house, the plantation house.
Resident Evil 8 is about the village.
So it's literally...
Gotcha.
It's dumb to, like, say that. Like, of course, the sequel is going to expand upon...
But it makes sense.
Yeah, but it's very interesting,
because everybody was excited with 7 because it's like, I'm back in a mansion with puzzles.
Claustrophobic. It's... Yeah. You don't...
Turn a corner and Jack's like, oh, how you doing?
Freaking Jack. Oh, you bastard. No, it was a very clear progression, and it was... I thought very well earned. Like, I didn't feel overwhelmed because it's technically kind of open world where you get up to this hill and you can see the entire play field of like where you're gonna, like, you see the castle in the distance, you see the village in front of you, you see like a windmill in the distance, you see a house at the very top of a cliff. Like, you see all the places you go, I'm going to explore all that. It felt like Breath of the Wild when Link first walks out and you go like, I can see everything that I can do. Obviously, it's very confined.
It's a little bit more linear than...
Yeah.
You're not going to have Ethan climbing up a wall going...
You know? One day we're going to have that.
That would be a wild game.
I would play it. I mean, there's got to be a few like first-person Link climbing games.
Yeah.
But no, the gameplay was good. The gun feel is very much Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
Because the cache. What is it? The
Attaché
cache in Resident Evil 4. You know what I'm talking about? The briefcase.
Your briefcase.
His heavy-duty briefcase.
It's because Leon has a business meeting he has to get to. He's a businessman.
He's so busy. I mean, have you seen him in his like little the gangsta outfit? Oh, he looks so handsome.
In your third time playing the game. So tell me more about the game feel, about how it controls, how it looks. Were there any major bugs?
There actually weren't because I was playing on the PlayStation 4 Pro, so I didn't have the PS5 version because no PS5s are out there currently.
Yeah, PS5s. Who are they?
Yeah, what are those? But it ran very well on my PS4. There was like one little like technical issue. It's like near the end of the game, like you can obviously see the whole village and like things are happening in the distance, and in games when like
the render distance.
No, it's not even the render distance. Like you could see it, but like the frame rate does that like stop motion thing.
Yes.
Like the PS4 definitely does suffer from that at the end. It didn't take me out of it by any means because the product or the production value is to the roof with this game. Sound design phenomenal. The sporadic music that is dispersed between all of the game is amazing. Mm-hmm. The character designs are top tier in the Resident Evil universe, I should say. And enemy design is also far better than what Resident Evil 7 was, because Resident Evil 7 only had like the one type of enemy design. It's the molded.
Yes.
And they're scary. They're definitely scary, and like you get the dog version of it and like the bigger ones. And it's very fine for the condensed game that it was.
Yeah.
But this game really throws so many different types of enemy variety at you, and it keeps you on your toes.
What was your playtime? I know that's a weird...
No, that's fine. Because playtime's pretty big. My first playthrough, because I've done it twice now. I have played through it twice.
Really?
I'm gonna try hardcore mode. I was playing once by myself just to like get the experience. I played it a second time again on standard just with my brother so he could watch it. But I'm going on hardcore. I'm a little scared. But my first playthrough was about 10 hours, 11 hours. And
okay.
I was kind of rushing my first time because I got most of the side trinkets and stuff. I got most of the treasures. I didn't get everything. I missed a few things. So, yeah, around 11 hours.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
11 hours, but it's got replayability.
It's got the mercenaries mode. It's got like little trials that you can do and like that in the game give you more money for like the shop system in the main menu that gives you like bonus stuff. Like guns and
did they talk about they're going to do DLCs with it? Kind of like 7?
They have not. Okay. I would assume that down the line there's going to be something. There's going to be something for Village.
Kind of like tapes.
Probably 7, tapes in sense, I would hope, because I would like to play more of this. I'm still having a good time coming back and playing it again. It's not as stressful as I was expecting, but it definitely does give me that like... I'm glad it didn't last as long as it, like a 20-hour stressful game. That's a long time.
That is a long time. What consoles is it out on?
It's on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 4.
Okay. Would you say it was worth the $60 price tag that it comes with, and is it worth the extra bonus prices it comes with?
I remember my initial, because I pre-ordered it in January.
Yeah.
I didn't get this deluxe edition because it had the trauma pack, and what I thought the trauma pack was at the time was just like health items and stuff. I'm like, why do I want that? I'm gonna get the standard edition. When I started the game, I finally like looked up what the trauma pack was, and it had a lot of filters for like Resident Evil 7 stuff. Like it had a VHS filter for the entire game where everything sounds like, and it's like a found footage. They have the very, very hard mode on it, which is like, I think is silly. That should just be a part of the game.
It's behind a paywall.
Yeah, it's behind a paywall.
I didn't know that. That's weird.
So I purchased the thing just because I'm a huge fan and I wanted the nerdy like.
You want to have
the VHS thing, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I would recommend waiting for a potential sale for the trauma pack, but the full priced game, yes, I think the game is worth it. Yes, the trauma pack, I have a feeling they're going to discount it heavily at some point because people are going to recognize, the hardest difficulty is locked behind the paywall. They're
cutting themselves a replay.
Yes. So, I wouldn't recommend getting the trauma pack because it's unless you're a really hardcore fan of 7, which I personally am, so I really enjoyed it. But it's $12, and it's kind of just for a skin for a save point to make it look like the tape recorder from 7. a song in the safe rooms that
The safe room song.
yeah, you can change it for Resident Evil Village to be the 7 song.
That's cool.
It's cool, but once again, that's fine. That's purchasable. I'm fine with that. But it's the hard thing that I'm a little shook about.
All right, and what is your rating?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I give it a yeah, because I really liked it. I had a blast. I can't wait to go back. I'm giving myself some time to like get away from it, so I can kind of experience it again, because I played it twice, like pretty back to back. So I'd like to come back again a little more fresh. But I give it a yeah!
Alright, well, I'm moving on to the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Woo, Mass Effect, Josh.
Oh boy.
It's been so long.
It's been so long. This is a game we've been waiting for a long time. When Mass Effect Andromeda came out, I was like, oh, they're gonna give us a remaster.
Oh yeah.
Any day now.
I'm a little shocked it took this long.
Yeah, for real. But it came out on May 14th.
Okay.
And I basically, within a day or two, I've already played all the way through the first one. I'm now in the second one. They're long games. They're really long. But I love the story about them. They're so good. They really make you feel like your choices matter.
He's so happy.
God, I love these games so much.
So, like, they didn't change anything about the stories. Everything's pretty similar. Everything's the same.
As far as I've gone, the story is the same. I mean, I feel like they would get in a lot of trouble if they changed the story.
That's true.
I know in Mass Effect 3, there were a bunch of controversial endings and stuff. Julian doesn't know, and spoiler free.
I've seen a few of just because I was curious about what the fuck.
Spoiler free.
Mass Effect 3.
There was just a bunch of controversial stuff about it, and I know Mass Effect 3 you could buy the DLC at first. I don't remember if it was buy or if it was free, but there was a DLC where it's like, this is the true ending.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, what the fuck? It's all in there. All the DLCs for the entire Mass Effect series is in there.
So how was the gameplay?
The gameplay, they tightened up Mass Effect 1.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
The biggest rehaul is Mass Effect 1, because it's the oldest. They tightened it up. It still feels like Mass Effect 1. They moved some controls around, like the healing and the grenade are different spots.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad, though. That's something that you can easily get used to as you play.
It messed me up, but that's just because I've replayed 1 a bunch of times, and I kept being like, all right, time to do... Oh, I threw a grenade.
Okay, so it's not like an identical remaster.
They tightened the cover combat. They just made everything tighter.
Polished it.
That's
good.
Because it was an old game.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it was Xbox 360 era.
Yeah.
So I want to say it was even early or late 2000s, not even 2010. I want to say 2009 is when it came out.
Let me look it up.
Because my goodness, those games... It's funny thinking about it, going back and playing older games, even in 2000, like the early 2000s, those Xbox eras, those games did have such different feel. Like, playing the first Assassin's Creed is it's not very wonky, but after playing like Black Flag and all those newer ones like Valhalla, it's hard to go back to even just like a beautiful game that's Assassin's Creed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the first Mass Effect came out November 20th, 2007.
That's a long time.
So it's been out
a long time, and there's a lot that they could have refined. And even within like the industry, gaming has evolved within the 10 years that it's...
Well, I mean, if anybody out there played Mass Effect Andromeda, but the gameplay control was completely different.
Yeah.
Like, it's just changed in that time.
Yeah.
And the first one, they just made it tighter.
Good.
They made the shooting tighter.
And you just jumped into 2, so I'm assuming 2 still feels pretty samey to what...
I haven't gotten very far.
Okay, not too far.
It's feeling roughly the same.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be the same. So, since the gameplay is slightly different, does that mean the game feel of the game is different? Or, I mean, it's obviously it has a brand new coat of paint, which makes it look very pretty.
It feels pretty much the same.
Good.
It feels like the same story. Your choices still matter. Some of the upped graphics look a little silly. Like, Captain Anderson's eyes kind of pop out from time to time. Ambassador Udina, his skin looks very pale. Like, it's...
I did notice the paleness.
He looks
like he
looks like he's out of blood.
Like he needs a little sun.
Yeah. No, it looks
he
more
needs
like
blood. Like
it looks like he's been drained of blood. He just donated and it's like he didn't get his cookie.
Oh, poor guy. But that's good that the game doesn't change that much.
Yes. There are some things that they changed about a Mass Effect 3 thing with Tali, but I'm not going to say it because that is a spoiler.
Oh.
It's just they've changed out pictures and stuff. It's fine.
Okay.
It's nothing
like it's something you get over.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's initial. Huh.
Yeah. Well,
how much was it? It was the $59.99, I believe, right? I want to say it's the $59.99, so roughly like $65. Do you think it would be worth that price point? Or do you think, I mean, because you're a fan of Mass Effect and you've already played all of them, you're pretty much paying for just a new coat of paint and and the new game controls. Do you think it's worth it? Because I like these kind of updates. I prefer these kind of updates.
It was $60, $59.99, and as a fan of the series, I really enjoyed it. It was something I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Yeah.
And you're getting 3 full games and all the DLC.
$60. That's the good.
Granted, they're older, like 2007.
Yeah.
It's fairly old. But I would say, yes, it's worth it. There's no other editions of it, because they're not going to be like, get the DLC for this. It's like, it's already
right
there.
It's
if
all
you guys
there.
made DLC, I would have been pissed.
I mean, I get that.
Because it would have been like, what are you doing? Adding more. But no, I think it was worth the $60, and I definitely...
I mean, and if you never even played them,
if you never
3 whole games,
never played it, you better get in there and play it.
Yeah. So, what console is it for?
It's Xbox One and PlayStation 4, but they also have can play it on Series X.
They have those upgrades.
Yeah. But it was released on Xbox One and PS4.
Okay. How do you feel about it? What is the
Oh yeah.
That's an oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Another oh yeah?
I mean, I love this game. And if you're a fan of this game, you gotta get it. You gotta play it. It's
give it a shot. You
gotta opening up Mass Effect 1 and just hearing the title screen music playing. Mm-hmm. It's just it kind of swept me away, and I played the story like it was my first time again.
Yeah.
And I was just so excited.
Oh, that's good.
It felt right to be back.
That's good. And now our final game is
Biomutant.
Biomutant, which came out May 25th. So
we haven't had a lot of time.
No,
with this
it's very very new. It's only been 3 days since our recording. And
we played it on our stream.
I started a little bit of a character.
Let's hear your thoughts on it first.
Currently, the story is a little. We'll go down the list. The story is. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's a fine story. I do like the characters. That's the thing I'm actually pretty excited about. I really did like. I wasn't expecting to like a lot of the character designs and like feel for the characters, but they're growing on me. They're very, especially the one linked to your main character, like your mother and like those kids. And you were telling me learning that the three bullies
and okay, so the game has flashbacks of when you were a child, which was something I was not expecting at all.
That was cool.
I just thought you were going to be an anthropomorphic little
just go
weasel
you literally
running
just
around a world. But it has all this story about your muma, your mom, and about
your poppy. Poppy.
I don't know.
Poppy.
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 And in a flashback, you fight. There's these 3 bullies that you fight. And you end up learning that in the now time, they're the leaders of these clans.
It's just really cool world building.
Yeah.
I thought because I didn't even notice that the first time.
I noticed it on my playthrough.
Yeah, so it's just cool. So I think I haven't finished the game, so I can't fully say what I feel of the story. But I like what I'm seeing. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did.
Same. I've been playing a lot more of it myself.
Yeah.
I have my character that I'm playing on the side, and I do have a few nitpicky things here and there.
Yeah, I also do as
Visually, the game is beautiful.
Yes.
It's a fun game to just run around the world. I keep telling myself, it's like, I'm going to do this thing. And it's like Breath of the Wild. I keep getting lost.
You get distracted.
I'm running around going, wait, what's over here? What's this? It does have a little bit of a repetitive loop about it, where I'll get to a new area and it goes, welcome to this new area. It's full of bad guys. You beat the bad guys and it's like, all right, here's the things to do in this area. Find the scrap pile. Find the rare loot. Find the old world stuff. Pretty much every place has the list of things you have to do. When you get to a town, it's like, talk to this merchant, talk to this merchant.
It's really not because a lot of games have that problem where it's like, okay, I'm just doing a list now, and I don't really feel like I'm discovering.
Yeah.
I got that feeling too. I felt very much that way as well, where because I've really just kind of got to the main area.
Yeah.
But from what we were playing, yeah, it was very much like, okay, just beat these guys. Area's clear. Talk to this person.
Yeah.
And it didn't really feel like an adventure, especially how they deal with voice acting, where the characters themselves don't talk, and it's the same narrator, which it was charming at first, but I do find that I don't remember
It definitely feels like, because he's a very well-spoken British,
and I love it because it was funny at first. It's great at first
because you got these creatures being like, it
reminded me of Banjo-Kazooie, to be honest, and I thought it was clever. It was clever because, like, yeah, of course they don't speak English, like,
but it definitely makes it hard to, as you were saying, you love the character design. There's a lot of really fun characters you meet that you like, but because they're not voice acted, I kind of don't care as much.
And I feel like maybe even if they spoke a language and it was just subtitles, I think that would have been better.
Yes.
Because then and it does take up your time too, where you're talking to a character. Now let's talk about what the character said.
Yes.
It's just slow. It's small, but like after enough time, you do go like, oh my god, let's just get to what we need to do.
Yeah. It feels a lot of like, all right, hurry up, come on.
I would have much rather had like a fake language where I just read what they said.
Something I did learn is that you can turn down the amount of time the narrator talks.
Oh, interrupts you like during combat and like that kind of stuff?
Because he will talk about everything.
From what I remember.
I found a mountain, I'm riding around and he just goes, it's a good thing this thing is not run on energy or something like that. Yeah. And I'm just kind of like, I don't need to say it.
It's like Navi. Navi's wasn't even that bad. It's
because
like
Navi just goes, hey, and then you're like, I don't
you can ignore it, and she goes, okay.
But this guy,
he talks.
He just is just talking about anything. You walk into a new area, and he's just like, ooh, I wonder what is over here, and it's kind of like, okay,
I know, I get it. Like it's kind of like it's exactly why in Breath of the Wild, we've been comparing games to Breath of the Wild, but it's such a good base for a game.
I mean,
but they don't have it like you just walk. You just walk. Nothing's interrupting you.
It always makes me feel like I'm not doing something.
Yeah, it feels like you're following someone's orders.
Like it makes me feel like I have a thing that I haven't been doing, because there's one he does where he goes like, the fate of the world really does rest with you. Will you be good or bad? He just says it,
and you're like
randomly, and I'm like, I was just walking through this area. You're making me feel like I have to go do shit and I shouldn't explore. You make me feel bad for just having fun.
And I think that's the problem. I think the narrator. I think we've solved it because I wasn't sure what I have been like kind of feeling about the game.
It feels like he's nagging you.
Yeah, and it's like a Zelda game. It's like those older Zelda games where they would constantly like, Fi, you got to go over here. Hey, you know that money has money. Like that money is worth 5 rupees. You can pay rupees to go to the shop.
And it's like, I know.
It's kind of talking down to the player in a small sense.
Because I don't think that's what they were going for. As we said, I appreciated it when it first happened. I was like, this is cool.
Just after hours of it.
It has a hard time. Exactly. I've been playing it for hours since it's come out. And it always feels just like, you're still talking here. I get it, man. I'm just trying to do my thing. You're still talking.
So, would you say it's worth the price?
$60.
I think it's warranted the price because there is so much to do. I've had already a lot of hours of just entertainment, and there's so much that I haven't even seen, like fighting actual bosses.
Exactly, the bosses are huge.
The combat reminds me of Deadpool, the old Deadpool game by High Noon, which is just fun.
The combat
it's a little mindless.
Feels like it wanted to be Devil May Cry, Bayonetta. It didn't fully get there.
No, it was the enemy design. I feel like that needs work.
Because you're fighting kind of the same thing. It's either a creature on 4 legs, people your size, or people boys. Your size, your type but big.
Yeah.
And then the big bosses, which I've heard are very cinematic.
Yeah, so
they're very cinematic. But it sometimes doesn't feel like your attacks matter. You'll hit somebody and they don't move. They keep attacking you. I did have a little bit of issue with there's no hard lock-on. It's a soft lock-on system.
Yeah.
And I did a combo, one of my Wung Fu, which is the specialties, where I'm supposed to throw my swords.
Yeah.
And my guy, I was backing up, and he was locked on, which he shoots at them automatically.
Yeah.
And I did the Wung Fu, but while he was backing up, he just threw them behind him. And I was like, well... I'm going for this one little dude. And you hit the little dude with my Wung Fu.
I wish I could have locked onto him.
But I also get the soft lock. I get why they wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I wish the game was a little more polished. Just here and there, there's little things. When you call your mount, it's just a button, and then your mount shows up. I would have liked a little woo woo something.
Not even like a whistle. I didn't even know that. See, I haven't even gotten that far.
You just do it, and the mount just kind of appears. Okay. It like runs up off screen. It's just little polishes here and there.
Yeah, which hopefully can be added to patches and stuff, because surprisingly we live in a world where they can just fix the game, which is annoying because it's like, why wasn't
you have a problem, you can release a unfinished game, which I will not say they did. The game feels finished.
Yes.
It just, there's some things that I have an issue with.
Yeah.
And one last little nitpick. The menu is kind of a mess.
I don't like the menu.
I get what they were trying to do. It's a little dot where you go to the head, the torso, you pick out. But I would have just liked to, like a little list where it's like, this is your head.
Yes.
Things. These are your pants.
They were trying to be a little artsy, a little like, ooh, look at this.
You described it really well by saying it feels like a Fortnite menu.
Yes, it definitely looks like a Fortnite menu. It's like colored, pops, the font is very similar. It's just, it's fine. It does the job, but like, I don't like being in the menus. Which usually I like being in menus looking at stuff. Like, but not this one. This one just a little too confusing.
The crafting is, the game has a very big emphasis on crafting. It's like, you don't find weapons, really. You find them here and there, but for the most part, it's like, you want a new gun? Make it. You want a different sword? Make it. The crafting menu is too similar to the inventory menu, and it's just
messy. I think it's messy. Yeah, I think it's messy. So, what would you...
let's do our rating at the same time. I have a feeling...
We're going to be similar.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I am having fun with it. It's a good time sink.
For the next big game that like you're really waiting for.
I think a big issue I had is I created my own expectations in my head from the trailer.
Too. Me too. I thought it was going to be just... I mean, I overhyped it myself.
And I have a tendency of doing that with games that I look at and I go, this looks awesome. This looks promising.
I mean, I remember Anthem.
Man.
Okay, I will say this. I don't know, especially with a lot of games coming out, if I will finish it completely, like do everything. I might do the story just to get to I want to see what happens.
I want to see,
I want to fight the big monsters, but like...
You gotta save the world tree.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Or the
world tree, yeah, you're right.
Is that
it? Tree of life or something.
Tree of life, that's it. I was like, the world tree, that's like the Viking
That's something, yeah.
thing.
I mean, same thing.
You see the world tree in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Not Ragnarok, the God of War.
Yeah, there you go. But
that was it.
The next one's God of War.
Next one's God of War Ragnarok. Oh my god. Well,
that I think that's it. That's the last of our games for this month of May.
Yeah, so thank you for listening to our casual views for the month of May. Do you agree with our views? Let us know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next month for our casual views on the Game Cave.